Peace, y'all. Welcome to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze. I really want to blot my face real quick. I have some blot papers, and I was back here thinking, oh man, I'm out of blot papers back here because you know, I'm not. Not to say I'm never going to wear makeup again. That's probably a overstatement, but not if I can help it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna slap on this rouge à lèvres and keep it pushing. You dig? Huh? Uh, yeah, un momento, y'all. Hold on. So sorry. It's one of them days. Mm. And that I go through. 1 second, y'all. Hold on. Okie dokie. I'm back. That's magic. Fuck was I saying? Oh, blot papers. Yes. So anyway, blot papers. I've been buying these joints from ashamedly now Target of all places. Bring me into the town square and stone me. I've been buying these shits from Target. I swear to God, 20 years. I remember. Oh my gosh, here come my auntie moment. I remember when the pack of these used to be $1. They are not $1 anymore. Um, and I remember I had a family member who just swore again. Niggas be getting the wrong idea about me. I do not even understand how. But somebody in my gene pool assumed that I was so bougie that these dollar pack of Target block papers that must have paid. How much did you pay for that? It was $10. Please, as if I would $1. Thank you so very much. Anyway, so guys, thank you all for being here. I'm gonna give y'all some seconds. I don't even know who the fuck, how many, who, hey, always see Holly. I see the H. The H be coming in like the bat signal out the chat. Holly Horn, shout out, much love, big up. Will is under the weather tonight, so the clips that I had planned to share in tonight's scheduled program are momentarily unavailable. These are topics that I definitely want to revisit on Tuesday. But who the fuck knows could happen between now and Tuesday? Who knows what could happen between now and Tuesday, gang? Because we live in the upside down. Stoner Loner, Damien, love you, Damien. Is I think UK is also feeling like the upside down. Yeah. Chichi Macha. Are things a little bit more laid back in the upside down in New Orleans? Oh gosh. I'm tired of everybody. But I mean, we can always start with the big fish. Oh, right. So call in show. So if y'all wanted to do that, we can do that. Part of what I had planned to share tonight was about Chicago. And I knew Chicago. See, I'm telling you, I be fucking with the right shit. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. If I like you / love you, there is probably something very, very special about you. There is a reason that I am inclined towards that feeling. That also works in the reverse. If I don't like you, there is probably a fucking reason because you probably give bad vibes. But Chicago is with the shits, y'all. Chicago is very much with the shits. Even the sister who took 5 shots, literally got shot multiple times by those deputized white supremacists, aka ICE agents. Shout out to Jackie Lukman. I'm trying to be more mindful of my wording here when we talk about so-called ICE agents, because they're not. They're like Jackie said, they Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, 3%ers, Tiki Torch bearers, Regardless, even the sister who got shot multiple times by ICE, deputized thugs, not only did she survive, but they was trying to charge her, and they did charge her with several things, but she's already out of jail. And I gotta credit the local media in Chicago. I am, dare I say, impressed at the quickly declining levels of propaganda in their reporting when they are talking about this occupation of Chicago. I'm like, ABC Chicago said that? CBS Chicago said that? Okay. But now, well, I'm trying to paraphrase the anchor that I saw, the clip that I was going to play. You know, Chicagoans are on edge after a woman, blah blah blah. I don't know what the fuck he said. He was talking about the chick who got shot, but then he said, but now new information revealed shows that perhaps Homeland Security's initial reports or initial presentation of the facts might be falling apart. I said, oh shit. Whoa. Whoa. These are cracks in the mirror, everybody. The mirror is starting to crack. The facade is starting to fall away, but to the point that more people are able to see it, right? That should I can't say it's never been there for us. I'm sure we are all at different levels of consciousness and realization about the farcical nature that capitalism has presented and imposed upon our thinking, our society, the way we interact with each other, how we survive, et cetera, et cetera. But shit. Yo, what's up? Y'all better come through. Rosalba, Wizab. Big James, Big James, Big James, Big James. You can come sit with us in the ranks of the unemployed. There's plenty of room. we got it. We all chilling here. Let me shut up. We get out James' business. But James, I don't want you to feel bad. You probably got another job already, James. You probably, a very skilled individual out here. I don't even know what you do out here, James, but I'm sure you do it exceptionally fucking well. So get another gig if you want to. Don't get another gig if you want to. You know what I'm saying? I want you to do you. I want you to be happy out here. So, oh yeah. So Latif's gonna drop the link for y'all. Shout out to Latif. Appreciate it. So y'all can call up here and say what you want to say. We take all comers. We take friends and foes alike. Haven't had an experience with a hater, but again, I don't fucking know. I don't care. Let me shut up. Let me stop inviting negativity into my world. I won't do that. But we don't run from it, nor do we shrink. And guys, anyway, like I was saying, Chicago with the shits. Very proud of Chicago. And let me say this also, Brandon Johnson, shout out to Brandon Johnson. Far be it from me to give praise to a Black Democratic mayor, because the overwhelming number of them are what y'all garbage accurate. Yes, from Andre Dickless in Atlanta to Eric Adams in New York City. Who else is big trash out here? Is Black? Oh, Muriel Bowser, Washington, D.C. And Brandon Johnson is shaming you niggas out here. Brandon Johnson is shaming you niggas out here. This is how you supposed to get out there and talk to fucking clans people. You're not supposed to acquiesce. You're not supposed to comply in advance. Brandon Johnson. Now, granted, he got a white man got his back, which is great. It usually helps the situation when there's a wealthy white man, you know what I'm saying? Ready. But I appreciate Brandon Johnson. I mean, it's hitting different. This Brandon Johnson tough talk is hitting different to me than the other Brandon mayor, Brandon Scott in Baltimore with Westmore. You know, I cannot stand no fucking Westmore. Anyway, but that's another topic. So anyway, say again, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Anywho. So thanks again, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Be ready to stock up on some BIDWKB cooler weather gear. I'm going to drop a promo code next week so you guys can cop some gear. Now I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. We gotta bring in some more bucks. We gotta bring a couple more dollars around here. So and I appreciate all that have contributed, that do contribute, You are the all-stars. Well, everyone's an all-star really, because you don't have to pay to kick it at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? We welcome all who offer free support and the material support. Woo, but material support. The material support. So I'm gonna drop a code because I don't never like to hit y'all over the head. I mean, I appreciate when you buy, whenever you buy, it's great. But when I can remember to go into log into Shopify and go create a promo code, I'm like, oh yeah, and let me go do that, because so you can cop some stuff for the Dissy. Anyway. Hey, Swear thank you so much. This is probably one of the few, and when I say few, I literally mean like two things that I've ever bought clothes wise from Amazon. And it hasn't fallen apart. I'm actually, thank you very much. I'm back, but I try not to, I don't make that a habit doing the fast fashion, to be honest. But I think I can't remember what this was, material wise. It must have caught my eye. No, I love the braids on it on the shoulders, but the something I can't remember. I'm gonna look later. But thank you, Swear I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So the other stories I had planned, and I feel like, why am I prefacing my stories? Because then y'all gonna be like, can we just talk about the shit Friday on Tuesday? But again, anything could fucking happen. Okay, anything could happen, y'all. I just heard local news. Obviously, the federal government remains shut down. This is day 10 of the government shutdown. Do you know that the House is not coming back to sit next week at all? These niggas reported that shit so cool. Not cool, but no, it's definitely not cool around here because people are freaking out. Well, federal government workers and those that are government contractors are obviously very concerned. I think they have just received, or when did they get their last paycheck? Maybe was it this week? Or maybe it was the first week of October. I'm not sure. But that 15th check is not going to hit. And people are legitimately and justifiably concerned. So to hear that the House of Representatives, led by Republicans, right? I think a lot of the Democrats are in town. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. Speaker Mike Johnson can call the House back to sit whenever the fuck he feels like it, and he is just like letting people twist. There was a clip going around. You guys may have seen it. I think Mike Johnson, he must have been on C-SPAN or some shit, because I was like, why is he taking callers from regular people? They're gonna roast him. He must have hated himself on that day to accept that appearance. Like, oh, sir, no one's gonna say anything nice to you. But so this clip is going around of a presumably white woman who is a military wife who has disabled children who require medication, and she's telling them, if you don't approve, or like, why don't you call Congress back or call the House back and present a bill that would fund military families? And I'm like, the sound of this person making their plea and talking about, how their family depends on this paycheck and they need health care. And I'm like, I can understand that there's some parts about this that could pull at the heartstrings. Where she lost me was about military families, right? And I mean that because she was saying only them. Okay. And I'm like, whoa. There's an issue with this country. And I guess this is just the battle tested or war machine aspect of the US hierarchy of needs, right? But my point is this: like, this country and its policies and its ethos always prioritizes, well, at least claims to prioritize military and law enforcement and their families, right? More so than everybody else. And it's like, I'm sorry, like, I don't think that should be. Okay, I don't think that should be. So anyway, this lady was, and I'm not unsympathetic to anybody that is connected to the federal government who has their livelihood tied up in this bullshit shutdown. But y'all, I mean, I guess this is what everybody wanted. So Well, everybody meaning the Republicans and the Democrats, because I don't really know what Democrats can do, but more, more, whatever the fuck they doing, they need to be doing more at the end of the day. So there's that. As we have somebody in the coup? No, nobody in the coup. Nobody in the coup. What is the other thing that was on my brains? I went on Twitch yesterday and was ranting against technology and transphobia. it was it was an interesting stream. I talked about several things, but it was kind of all over the place, which where we might be on tonight, a little all over the place. Um there was the announcement coming from California law enforcement about the charging and the arrest of the person that started the Palisades fire. And if you haven't seen this fellow, I'd like you to guess the race. Who y'all think it was that started a fire that burned down the entire town? Now, if we had to take bets, dare I say a parlay, and I don't even know what a parlay is. I'm just saying shit I done seen on the DraftKings commercial. I don't know that shit. But if we had to guess the race of who the fuck burnt down Pacific Palisades, well, let's see. Historically, who has been the one burning down towns? And I do not laugh at the fact that they have burned down towns, but as though it was ever any doubt as to who it was. And here come Trump this week in the White House talk about Antifa this, Antifa that. Nigga, go Antifa your grandsons. Go Antifa your nephews, okay? These motherfuckers is out of control. Now, there's a story out here, and I was hoping to get confirmation of who the perpetrator was. In Pennsylvania, I'm not even sure where Franklin County is in Pennsylvania. Sounds like the sticks, but I do not know. There were 2 Pennsylvania state troopers shot. They survived. I think one of them's already been released from the hospital. The other remains, I don't fucking know. He's still in the fucking hospital, right? The suspect was himself shot and killed. They did reveal on the news or the more recent clips that I was able to go refine before we went live. They said the shooter was 31 years old, male, fleeing from an alleged retail store theft at the Dick's Sporting Goods. He and 2 females. The females, when the police pulled them over or got caught up to them or whatever the fuck, the women got out the car, hands up, complied, surrendered, etc. But the guy wanted to shoot it out. I said, who shoots it out with the police? Oh, so even though I have not been able to confirm nor verify who is out here shooting at the police again in Pennsylvania, lest we not forget Matthew James Ruth, 24 years old, of York County, Pennsylvania, shot 5 cops, killed 3 of them. I think just like 3 weeks ago. So my whitey sense is tingling. my whitey sense is tingling now. My whitey sense is not 100%. It's not foolproof. Y'all think y'all have seen my whitey sense fail me on very few occasions. Okay, very, very few times has my whitey sense let me down. My whitey sense is definitely tingling though. But I don't know. Niggas shoot the brother who was not a sovereign citizen, but whatever the black version of sovereign citizen is, that the brubs in Pennsylvania for some reason, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, they be rocking with that shit. He popped at the cops, but he didn't get none of them. Oh. Who is Vesper X? Bring Vesper X ass up here. We love our country boys. Oh, because I'd like to know what's happening in Georgia. Don't
Mhm.
see good news coming out of Georgia. Hey, Vesper X.
Hey, love, how you doing?
I am. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Vesper. I'm not sure, Vesper. I'm very convinced that we're either going to have to confront aliens or Nazis, and really, it's going to be one or the other. Like there's no second, or rather a third choice. It's like
Mm-mm.
choose your
Aliens
fighter.
ain't. It ain't gonna be aliens. If it's aliens, it's probably a psyop. It
The
ain't gonna be
alien.
aliens because smart aliens, the ones that can actually, traverse big distances and solar systems and stuff, the intergalactic societies, they ain't messing with us. We are like ants to them. They are not going to pay us any attention. In fact, they're probably got us under a quarantine, like keep your business to your planet and leave us out of it.
They rolling up, man. See again, Vesper. You got to tap into what's happening, man. Like
Oh, I know what's going on with the Three Eye Atlas. You'd be talking about it,
where
but I knew about
are
it before you
the
brought it
pictures?
up.
Where are the pictures? It's already flew by Mars. How come if it was a nothing or if it was a comet, where are the pictures from all the
There's
satellites?
pictures. There's pictures.
Those are the shitty pictures, the one they took from the Mars landscape from the rover.
Mhm.
No, where are the satellite pictures? Where are the we got like 3 satellites orbiting Mars, and this joint came close
Yeah,
to
I mean,
Mars.
I do find it suspect that they got all these HD cameras, but everything that's coming out is blurry. But the amateur astronomers, that have their own little backyard set
Mhm.
up and the cameras, they have some pretty decent pictures. So,
And I want to know how come China didn't release pictures? How come the UAE didn't release pictures? How come Europe didn't release pictures? They have satellites circling around too. I feel like it's a very coordinated thing going on to make sure that the highest resolution pictures of whatever Three Eye Atlas is are not being released. And I have questions.
but I mean, we've been through this before with a Muamua. This isn't
I
the
know,
first.
but Three Eye Atlas is big. Three Eye Atlas is
Yeah.
big. And I remember with the Muamua, they were like, hey, that's interesting. It's kind of moving from this way to going that way. But the way that Three Eye Atlas was initially trying to be pushed as a comet, it was not giving comet vibes, I think, from the outset. So
Oh
that's
yeah, it
why.
was definitely a coordinated effort on the mainstream media part. We've seen this before with the Gaza coverage, how they'll be one-sided or very blatantly obvious that there's something else going on there. But, with all of that though, like honestly, you know what I think it really is? I think it's probably some kind of probe that's looking at us going through the transition that we're going through right now. I think Oumuamua was the first one taking pictures of that time. This one's probably taking pictures, probably looking at our planet on a more multidimensional level and seeing what's going on because we are going through a transition. It is a transition of consciousness, and it's becoming more and more obvious who has the higher level consciousness and wisdom and who doesn't.
I've been looking at the craziest shit on TikTok, and I'm almost hesitant to even bring it up because I can't explain it. I can't say who's credible, who has,
And they're changing the algorithm on there now too. So
oh well, no,
don't.
that's bad. But what I mean is this. So there's some accounts that I follow, and I guess these people have YouTube
Mhm.
channels too, but I just haven't discovered them on YouTube because whatever. But like so I've seen at least 2 interviews with 2 different remote viewers who have claimed that they are, they beamed aboard telepathically to Three Eye Atlas, and they've even named the race of aliens that they think it is. And it's like, dog, like this is I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like this is not an insignificant event
Yeah, it's
for
not
us.
insignificant, but I
And the
also feel
and
like
the
it's not important either compared to all the
well,
other things.
I mean, I would say like our people over thousands of years like took great interest in the movements in the cosmos,
Yeah,
right? From comets to eclipses
yeah,
to meteors to explosions that were even observed from ancient observers thousands of
yep.
years ago. They noticed this shit, right? So like I believe that other beings have likely been coming here for a very long time. If not, we're here first, right? Before
I
humans.
believe that humans are a colony. I don't think that we evolved on this planet. There's too much evidence to show that we didn't even evolve here.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm saying, but as of like right now, I think that something flying close to Earth with all of our alleged progress in technology and our ability to document it, the fact that the
And then
documentation
define
is coming
physics.
across very poorly. Yeah, I mean, all of that. Like I don't snuff at any
Yeah.
of that because it's the unknown, and it's also the indefensible. There's no you can't protect, you know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing, there's no weapon formed on Earth against the aliens that shall prosper. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like
Have you ever looked into Stephen Greer's work, Dr.
I
Stephen
have,
Greer?
yes, he's
Yeah.
working on the boogosphere. The boogosphere is also some shit too.
Yeah, that's the latest thing he's working on, but he's been warning about this since like the early 2000s, that their plan was to create a global economic collapse and at the same time create a manufactured psyop that aliens are attacking us when it's actually our secret space program in order to manipulate society. So I truly believe that. Like I've heard it from multiple different places outside of UFO stuff, right? Like back when Alex Jones wasn't crazy, he was talking about it, about how they were planning on doing some type of alien and fake alien invasion. Um, this has been around for a while. Even been declassified in certain CIA, when they do those huge dumps, and it's just so much information that most people don't even look at anyway. They've had plans for this for a while. So I think that what he even Stephen Greer said this, and he kind of confirmed it for me, um, because I believed it before he said it, that the stuff with the drones last year or the year before, right around the election where the drones were all over and people were like saying they were UFOs. He said that that was a test to see how people would react and how the media would react before they pull the trigger or do the thing on alien invasion. I mean, all of this stuff is speculation too. It's like we have to keep our head on a swivel and not believe anything that we see because, yeah, there are some weird things going on, and yes, we can't trust them. But at the same time, I'm an advocate for teach a man to fish. There are a lot of remote viewers out there and people that do the tarot and all the woo woo stuff, but this is an innate gift. Even Jesus talked about it, like all the miracles he said he did, we can do. So it's the time for us to elevate our consciousness to the point where we can do our own remote view, where we can do our own channeling, where we can have our own one-on-one conversations with the angelic realm or explore the astral realm or the Akashic records on our own instead of leaning on someone else to do it, just like we're doing with the politics right now. We're looking for someone to save us. No one is going to save us. No one can tell us what is. We have to find that information out for ourselves, you know? And we have to do it ourselves. And in fact, speaking of the
Well,
CIA stuff, they've leaked information on their website. You can download the handbook on how to remote view.
no, that's cool. I don't care to remote view. I'm good. I don't want to go and see some of the things that remote viewers experience. That's not what I want to do at all.
Really?
I think that the
Why
part of
not?
the reason why this information is not being shared is because if niggas knew that the fucking aliens was coming, everybody would stop going to work. Okay, like I think like with intention that again these pictures, this evidence that our billions of dollars of space technology has been funding for many decades is working just fine, but they are not sharing this information with us because if people knew, if people
Hmm.
of this planet, if people living and suffering and dying under capitalism knew that something else way greater than ourselves was literally on the horizon, they would stop going to work. And that's why they are not letting these pictures and information out.
Maybe. Maybe. I mean, Stephen Greer even also talked about that. I think he wrote a book called The Lost Century, where it talks about like we've been stagnant in our technology for the last 100 years because they're not letting that information out to the public because they've reverse engineered all the alien tech that they found. So, I mean, all of this stuff, like I personally believe, but at the same time, there's no real evidence to it other than somebody saying, it's the same thing. It's like, do we really trust the people that are saying that the Three Eye Atlas is doing all this stuff? Because I look at it and I see that it things don't, 1 + 1 ain't equaling 2. But at the same time, how would I personally, like I'm very smart, but I wouldn't know how to calculate something's trajectory or speed. You know what
No,
I'm
that's
saying?
why
So how would
you
I
go
really know if
to
it's really changing speed or doing anything, or even if it's really out there?
because I listen or have sought out perspectives of different astronomers, like people who are actually
Yeah, me
this is
too.
what they do, like who they seek out the telescopes and I'm
But what
not
if
just
they were
talking about
paid?
the guy
But what if they were
below.
paid?
They could
You
have
know?
been paid. I
I
can't
mean,
say.
that's the
I have
thing. I
no
know, and that's the
idea,
point
but
that I'm
I'm
trying
just
to make.
saying.
That's the point that I'm trying to make. Like, I believe it, but at the same time, I also hold also the knowledge that I could be wrong, right? And that they could be wrong, or this could be a deception, or, I mean, with everything that's going on right now, like, shit, we can't trust anything. Like, for real,
Well,
we can't
that's
trust
also
nothing.
kind of why I think it's the case because
Yeah,
this Trump administration lies about everything. They
everything.
literally lie about everything. So the fact that there has been no comment, no disclosure, no nothing, they haven't dispelled it, they haven't confirmed it,
They're
because they
just
don't
too
know
busy
what
trying to
to say
cover up
about
the Epstein stuff. That's what they're doing.
Oh, trust me, if Trump wanted the Epstein
Everything is
files
an
off the
Epstein.
headlines, he could confirm the Three Eye Atlas
Yeah,
aliens. If he wanted Epstein off the headlines, confirm that the
yeah,
aliens are here. Release those pictures. Nobody would ask him
yeah.
about Epstein. So I don't know. Like
I don't know.
I'm interested to see, but what I'm telling you, the things by omission bear watching.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
When things are being
that
withheld
part.
and
Yeah.
that other people that are not in government spaces or who are lay
Or
experts
when
or
everybody acts like there's nothing to see here, which
yeah,
is what they're doing, which is pretty much what they're
absolutely.
doing.
That
A
is
lot of the
totally
people
what they're
that
doing.
are the UFO community, they call NASA, actually stands for never a straight answer.
And also those same lights that were over New Jersey, they have been spotted, confirmed over Copenhagen and there was another
Yeah.
European city where they saw these lights and they were trying to put it on the Russians. I said, well, that's
Mm.
convenient.
And the
Sure.
thing is, the crazy thing about those drones things, it was like there were certain videos where it was like very obvious it was a drone or some of those smaller aircraft, manned aircraft where people can actually fly in them. But there were other videos that look like have you looked, you might know what this term means. Do you know what a Merkaba is?
No.
Okay. Or a star tetrahedron. It's like a three-dimensional Jewish star. It looked like that. And it was spinning and folding in on itself. I saw a couple of videos like that where I was like, whoa. But in the AI age, I didn't know if it was AI or not, but it didn't look AI because it was too grainy. You know what I'm saying? And there's just certain tells for AI. And I was looking at that, I was like, that's a Merkaba. Because I can astro project. I can do that stuff I was talking about. I can actually remote view, and I've seen that before in the astral realm many times because it's a fourth dimensional object, and somehow it was just over New York, just doing its thing, hovering in space, and a fourth dimensional object folding in on itself. Like there's
I think
been
I've
some
seen
weird
that
things.
on Paranormal Caught on Camera. I've
Yeah, I
seen
mean,
those
I've seen
videos.
I've seen stuff like that more lately, and I don't know what it is, or these orbs, these glowing orbs that just hover and shoot off, and they don't look like a UFO, but they're definitely not of this world. I've seen them with my own eyes, and I've seen them in videos. I don't know what that is, but I also feel like, again, going back to what I was saying, I feel like all of this is because our consciousness level is rising on the planet. There are people on this planet that are, anchored to the energy that they're in, and let them. There's nothing we can do. They're already in the hole. You can't help them. But those of us that are actually doing the work to better ourselves and to be a better version of ourselves, are elevating our consciousness, and therefore the planet's overall consciousness level is raising because of it. That's why all these things that were once in the dark are coming to the light. Epstein was operating in broad daylight and nobody knew. But now our consciousness level is at such a high level that it's not going to go away until it's exposed. Hey, Latif.
Peace, peace. What's going on, Beth?
Feedback.
Yep.
So I don't disagree. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I hope that I don't know, but I do feel like some alien intervention might be needed here because I think humans are too far gone to resolve these issues to an equitable resolution, you know what I mean? Like I don't think we can do it. So I think the aliens got to come out, mediate, you know what I'm saying, prune a little bit. I hope I'm on the right side of the pruning. Maybe. We'll see.
How's that? That's better?
There you go.
All right, we got Infinite content on deck. Infinite, you there?
I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Clear as a bell, believe it or not. Peace, Infinite.
How are you, future ex-wife?
Infinite, you know I'm not taking no husband. You better stop playing with me.
Oh, okay. Look, you miss 100% of the shots you don't shoot.
I'm gonna be a spinster. Like I love that. There was something I read and I can't remember her.
You are not getting. I'm not letting you get to a nunnery. So just go ahead and dispense with that. Okay. Now that we've got
it was a piece of literature or something I read. It was something historical about the way women were classified, like in the 18th or 19th century. And
are you talking about like the Boston wives and things like that?
No, I mean like if you were a widow or a spinster, or like if you were not under the authority of any man, if you were not under the authority of your father or your husband, you were labeled as dangerous. I love.
Oh yeah, let women have that pesky thing called freedom and independence. That's way too dangerous. You might have to get burned at the stake.
I think they're going to try for that. Actually, I had a story about that tonight too. Crazy shit. Not about burning at the stake per se, but a pursuit of a woman across state lines for potential criminal charges because she had an abortion and her abusive ex allegedly turned her in to authorities in Texas, and the fuckers opened a criminal investigation. Because this lady had an abortion. So, yes, we might be getting burned at the stake a couple years for sure.
Snitch ass motherfucker. I can't believe. I mean, look, you know why she didn't want to have your baby? Because you're a fucking asshole. And she doesn't want to be tied down to an asshole for at least 18 more years of her life. And it just, it's like, look, I know sometimes they say it's cheaper to keep her. But sometimes it's better to just burn the bridge and let y'all go your separate ways. That made me almost forget what I was called.
I think cheaper to keep her applies almost
when you're married.
Through marriage. Yes. But I see your point though. You're not. I feel where you're coming from there, Infinite. That's very wise and sage advice that you were dispensing to the brethren out here.
Look. Y'all better learn how to use your pull-out game better. That's all I'm going to say, and we'll leave it.
Why, Gen X? Why? We are setting terrible examples for the youngins. I was having this conversation with another Gen Xer who shall remain nameless, and they were talking about their extreme dislike of prophylactics. And I said, y'all, how did you survive the 90s and the aughts when HIV was running through the community, son? Like y'all was out here raw dogging whole time? Just living dangerously? Just doing whatever?
Sometimes, let me put it like this. Certain points in life, you get so busy that sex is not even on the, that's not an option. You just got to focus on getting them bills paid. Now, let me stop going on a tangent about the debauchery of our generation, because I lived in Florida during the 90s, so I can tell you a story of loop dancers. So that's why I see twerking as suboptimal loop dancing. It's like, y'all say you're making a clap. I used to see women give standing ovations. So, but that's a
and that's before they was using the fucking the BBL. That's pre BBL. You talking? That's
oh
all.
no, like I said, I was down in Tallahassee at FAMU during the peak of Freaknik. I'm sorry. Once again, I'm going on a tangent, regaling in my halcyon days of youth. But did you see in Chicago?
I didn't know you went to FAMU Infinite.
Well, you never asked.
Well, you're right. You are a rattler. Is that what the FAMU are?
Yes, we strike and strike and strike again. And we don't care about that little school you went to with your little friends. My mom went to Langston. My older sister went to Hampton, or their bougie ass, but that's a whole different story. Once again, I've been meaning, like, trust me, the HBCU pettiness is beyond petty. We will find any. It's like you can step out of the line one time with your marching band, and we're gonna get on you. But allow me to get to the point I was trying to make, because I'm going on like 5 different tangents. Let me focus. Did you see that they're in Chicago? They are shooting men of the cloth.
Yes.
I'm like, you're going straight to hell for that. There's no gray area. St. Peter, like, no, Lucifer already got a special suite waiting for you.
Listen, he was a white preacher too, won't he?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You're shooting.
No,
why
it
are you
doesn't
shooting
matter.
any man of faith?
It's the audacity, like, because I understand how the hierarchy of race and gender work in this country, right? So, like, for them to start plucking, and especially, so did Trump say in his press conference that Christians are under attack? Isn't that what they said when the MAGA white man went into the church and shot up?
But it's your people attacking them. It's like, if your people attacking the Christians.
Oh man.
I mean, it's like, look, they would have been under attack if you people would have you put some leashes on your rabbit dogs, and of course the punks had their faces covered.
Infinite Content, who shot them PA state troopers in Franklin County?
I believe it was a black guy.
Was he? Look,
every so often we get it wrong. Like the DC sniper on the low. You remember the DC sniper case? Remember?
I was on the air when the DC sniper case was going on, and I talked shit, and my program director was like, maybe not a great idea until they apprehend him, because right after he shot the little boy outside of, I think it is Benjamin Tasker Middle School there in Bowie, he shot this 11-year-old in the stomach. And I was on the air that night, and I'm like, yo, who you out there? You because I knew it was a white guy. I'm like, he's not listening to WPGC.
Low key, he could have got the DC sniper could have low key got away with it for 20 years, and never been found, because everybody was looking for a white guy.
Dog, I knew it was a white. Knew in my heart of hearts it was white.
We're like the black delegation must make a formal apology.
he was all stunned. Everybody whitey sense was tingling.
No, in fact, everybody was stunned. Even though white people was like, it's like a black guy. We're like a black guy. What?
2 black guys.
Oh,
wow. Whoa.
Like I said, could have got away with it for decades. But that's a whole different animal. Like, remember I told you that they're going to try and pull up. But they still keep going after soft targets. They aren't going in like that whole building raid that they did.
Yes,
I think that was just them being lapdogs for capital, because they just wanted to clear out the building so they could gut it and gentrify it.
To me,
100%.
That's just my thought. I might be wrong, but I think I'm right.
I don't think you're wrong.
So someone else is on the line? Someone else is on?
I don't want to talk over you. You keep talking. I can say hi.
And, jump in, man.
Oh, I don't got anything to contribute. I was just going to say hi and I love you, Kim, and all that fun.
Peace, PJ, yeah?
PJ Fry, yeah.
PJ, thanks so much for joining. PJ, what's going on? Where? I don't want to do that anyway. I hate
Upstate New York.
Oh.
Oh, I'm near the capital. I'm not upstate. I'm near the capital of New York. Anybody from like a point forward will say they're from upstate, even though technically I'm more central, I guess, if you want to look at it.
So
You know where Albany is? I'm on par with Albany.
Got it. No, they found a black man hanging in Albany in recent months. Yeah.
Yes.
So that did the police look into that, or they just said they sprinkled some crack and said nothing to see here?
Probably that. Probably that. I haven't seen any follow up on it. I just in the slew of crazy news that got like washed away quick.
It did.
Oh, and speaking of finding strange fruit, did you all hear about that story of the man from that got found outside in the woods in Albuquerque? A black man got strange fruited, and they're trying to say it was suicide. Black men do not hang themselves from trees under any circumstance.
Nope.
I don't think so. I don't.
Oh, Vesper, you're back.
And I think the gentleman that you're talking about, Infinite, is from Kansas City. If I heard that accurately.
Yeah, I don't know if it was KC, Kansas or KC, Missouri.
I don't know. PJ, I have another question for you. I have another question for you. So when I know where people are from, I like to ask questions about what's going on in your area. So what happened with the correctional officers strike? Weren't the Wildcat?
I remember
strike?
this. I thought that they finally settled it. Everybody went back to work, but they're not. There was something stupid about it that like it's a punishment, but it wasn't a punishment. Everything just got like washed away and like nothing happened.
Kathy Hochul, Democrat governor, huh?
I mean, I could be off on that. It's been a minute. That was a little while ago.
I'll look into it because I forgot. I
wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared. I'm sorry.
It's fine. No worry. I'm a jerk. I do this to people. I'm very apologetic. So don't pay me any attention. It's the don't feel a way about it.
I've owed Rosalba calling in like since last year. I pinky promised I will call in to Kim, and then I never called in. So here I am.
Hey, listen, I'll take it. I appreciate it. I'm trying to think of what else to ask you about upstate New York. Do you see many Confederate flags?
Not where I am. I live in a ghetto.
In the
okay, I'll say I'm in Schenectady. I don't know if you've ever even heard of Schenectady.
I have heard.
Yeah, we know about Schenectady.
I don't know anything about it. I've just heard the name before. Tell me about Schenectady. What's Schenectady like?
Well, it's the actual the Electric City. It lights and hauls the world back in the 18 and early 1900s, and we were cool for a while, but that went away a long time ago. We've got our share of racists and bigots, and it's rare. If I see a Confederate flag on a car, it's rare. It's rare that I'll see it, but I'm in like the heart of the ghetto of Schenectady. So.
Wasn't upstate New York where a lot of the mob bosses of 100 years ago? They're like
There's as I understand, I can't find a lot on it. There was like an Italian black race war in the 70s that resulted from that stuff.
What?
From mob bosses coming up here. But I don't know the complete details. Finding anything on that's hard.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, because most of those criminal organizations are now legit.
Well, they became government for the most part.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it racist if I throw the Cuomos in there just cause is that wrong?
I'm Italian. No.
Okay, they was probably some mobbers associates.
I fucking hate Italian.
Connection.
I'm Italian too.
Yo, so let me ask. Well,
people like them that make me like disappointed to be an Italian American, and it's people like Luigi that make me proud to be an Italian.
Oh man.
I got my Luigi hat. Where'd that go?
You have a Luigi hat? Do 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 do
do do do do do do do.
Get my coins.
Kim, I'm gonna step off for a little bit. I might be back a little bit later, but I want to hit you with another bar because we always have to drop off with me dropping the bar.
I'm listening.
It's the unfrustratable, unrehabilitatable, unfrustratable. I gotta get mine. It's non-negotiable. So put me on like Donna Karan and come on. It's the John.
I was gonna
Black
say
Thought.
But that's
Black Thought. That's the Roots and Bahamadia on a song called it's the Ultimate Philly song. It's called The John.
I think I remember that, but I'm gonna have to pull it up.
Well,
Was that on? But no, that was that on Bahamadia joint
yeah, it
comment?
was on Bahamas Diaz
Okay,
on.
okay. That's
Around recycling wraps over packs, kids who ask should be getting 4 met the competition better be easing back. Like you see the hairlines on your pops when I drop dialect effect with 2 lines connected. I'm liking to my record like a CPR method. I'm always stand for my Philly rappers, and I got to go ahead and take umbrage and write about 2,000 words to explain why somebody ranking Philly as number 20 city of hip hop of all time was beyond insulting, getting beyond the pale.
I think they
Number
make those
20?
lists intentionally to antagonize people.
Oh yeah. I'm like,
They hate.
I'm like, okay, this is exactly. But see, the problem is, I got enough time right now, so I can make some time to go ahead and address my. It's like you can get this 10-page essay. All right, Vesper, BJ, y'all take it easy. I might pop back on if I don't. Y'all have a good weekend. Be safe and
Because Infinite
look after
content.
each other. All right.
Be safe, Infinite.
Thank
Peace,
you.
brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm gonna do y'all like white people do black people. So the boy who ran over the 17-year-olds in New Jersey was Italian. Explain your folks. No, I'm kidding,
Italians
y'all.
is dumb.
I'm
I was
sorry.
like, I didn't even hear about that one. And I was just like,
Oh,
wait, what?
fucking kid. I mean, I can't even. I don't even want to call him a kid. And I gotta say, I'm feeling very not contradictory or conflict, but I'm mad that this. So what happened? Let me be. I'll brief you quickly. September 29th. 17-year-old, I think his name is like Vincent Trattorio. Like it's blatantly Italian, right? So
Mhm.
he was driving 70 in a 20-mile-per-hour road. He had been stalking 2 of his classmates, or at least one of his high school
Oh,
classmates,
I'm getting this off.
and he ran them both over. They were riding e-bikes, and he killed them both. And
And then the
he was
cops let him
not.
go.
The cops let him go. He was not initially charged, except for like the moving violations to start. But it turns out that one of the young ladies had a restraining order against him. Her neighbors and her family knew that he had been stalking her for months, pulling up to the house, waiting outside the house. And it was interesting to me because one of his charges was driving without a license. And I'm like, which of these who of his
And the
parents in his
cops
household?
still let him go.
Thank you. While he had a restraining order against him, allegedly. Also,
Boys should be
guys,
boys.
well, but his dad is
No.
retired cop. His uncle is the chief of police for the next town
Yep.
over in New Jersey where they are. And even though he's now been charged with first-degree murder, 2 counts, the prosecutors are betwixt and between. They don't know whether or not to charge him as an adult yet or not. He's 17. And y'all know if he was black, he'd have been charged with everything that night and charged as an adult. And I even though I do I'm like, do I want 17-year-olds charged as adults? I guess overall I don't, but in this kid's case, I do. You know what I mean? So I feel a little I feel the contradiction within myself, right? Because I think I don't know what I think, but I think that the system, I
The
think
system needs to
17-year-olds are
treat
still
everyone
17. You know what I
equally.
mean? Well,
The
I
system
agree.
needs to treat everyone equally. That's what we're all aiming for, right? Is equality. So that means if you're going to do that to a 17-year-old black boy, you need to do that to a 17-year-old white boy. So yeah, charge him as an adult. He's grown enough. He knew what he was doing. He knew the consequences of his actions. And there's no way that you can deny that, even if you say his brain wasn't developed enough, which is technically true. But if we're going to apply that, then we need to apply that across the board to every single race. So it's one or the other. And since we've already set a precedent, the precedent is he needs to be charged as an adult, period.
Where was
And
the parental supervision, though? Where was the supervision? Y'all, what is going on in white households? White men, answer for your people. What is going on in the white household? What
well,
is
I
wrong
mean,
with these young
we
people?
we know that police are abusers. I know this from personal experience because my dad was a cop, right?
Mm.
So Like, we know that they're abusers, so that's what's going on. His family is cops, so of course there's abuse, there's trauma, undealt with trauma. There's all kinds of things, and then on top of that, the biggest glaring thing about this whole story that I think is what most people are latching onto, the glaring obvious thing is she went through the whole entire complicated and needlessly complicated process of getting the restraining order. The cops should have done their job and saw, oh, not only is he driving with no license, he shouldn't be anywhere near this girl, and held him and at least document, you know? I mean, and most likely, even with that, the system would have protected him because of his connections. He would have been out that night, but at least it would have been them doing their job. And I mean, this is why I follow you, Kim. The whole system it is a system of oppression. It needs to be burnt down because there's no reforming it.
Guys, thank you,
Can't fix
Vesper.
it from inside. It is the devil, and when you dance with the devil don't change. The devil changes you. The quote of shitty 90s movie.
This kid was an acolyte of Charlie Kirk also.
Yeah, see, I didn't know he was Italian either. Again, that's disappointing.
Right.
I mean, and the thing that I don't understand is why there's so many Italians now that are latching onto white supremacy when historically we were never seen as white in this country.
You had to get your weight up.
Italians coming to America proves how the government could get rid of racism. Like, they were lynching Italians when Italians first came in the early 1900s, but then there's this whole government program that gave us Columbus Day and a bunch of shit to normalize Italians as white people to stop it.
Yep.
Because Italians were helping like the capitalists making money because they realized if they get the dumb Italian at the head of the line, they'll fucking force that line to keep going as fast and hard as he can. And they didn't have to pay everybody else extra, just give that one Italian dude like an extra 2 pennies. Sorry.
No,
But,
it's legit.
It's real. And also to add on to that, like, it shows how the system can actually give reparations because there's two sides to reparations. It's not just money, it's also about repairing the damage that has been done. So the system did that for Italians, it's done that for Jews, it's done that for the Asian community. When are the black people in this country going to get what they deserve, which is, not just a check, but actual reparations, beyond monetary? You're muted, Kim. I don't know why.
Yeah. I'm not, yeah.
Sorry.
There you are.
It's okay.
I don't know. I these are stories that I kind of want to follow to see where they end up. Because, with intentionality, they are being downplayed. These stories are being minimized. And, especially we have to tell the truth about what we're seeing and about who is doing what.
Yep.
Because Trump is trying to swear up and down that, the lady selling flowers is the biggest threat to national security. You understand? Like, and it's nonsensical, and we have to start treating it that way. And not to say that people on our side haven't always treated the ridiculousness and the delusion of the Trump and the MAGA nation with the contempt that they absolutely deserve in the but I'm sort of befuddled that there's not a genuine concern amongst white America about like the state of their youth, you know what I mean, and the rage of their young men, right? And like these little motherfuckers is dangerous, dog. Like, and I don't see the concern coming from. And this is not for y'all too specifically. You guys know this, but I'm just saying this is a critique of white America and mainstream white America as a whole. Like, how come they're not worried about their kids?
Like cultural cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
On white people.
And and the thing that also befuddles me about this is knowing that white people have more at a higher percentage have higher access to mental health care, and they don't take advantage of it. Like it's not like they don't have access to getting their child therapy.
I think they don't supervise their children. Like, I think they don't engage with their kids in meaningful ways. I don't think they make real efforts to get to know their kids. I think they're very judgy about their kids, even when they're small. So their kids receive a whole lot of fucked up messages like early on. You know what I mean?
I think it's the psychological warfare that's being played upon us through technology. If you think about it, these 17 and 18-year-old kids were the kids that grew up with tablets in their face from
Hmm.
day one.
Excuse me.
Lack of supervision. Like I said, they're not watching their
Yeah,
children.
the tablet raised them. The
That's
internet
right.
raised them.
That's right. Oh God, the
That
4chan
kind of
chat room
They're
forums raised
18
them,
now.
for God's sake.
I mean, I don't know. I can't really look it up right now, but when did the iPad come out? When did the first
Hmm.
tablet start to come out? Because
that was
when
late
my
90s, early 2000s.
yeah,
Hmm.
They had
but I
them
mean,
shitty ones that were like
but
black and
I
white
bet you
tablets
when they
just for
became
reading.
affordable for
Hmm.
everyone to have was probably about 17, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So there we go. You mute it, Kim.
I'm sorry. So I mean, listen, there was concern for us, you know. Vesper, I know how old you are. PJ, I don't know how old you are, but
Oh
like,
yeah, I
Oh,
wasn't
no, you
allowed to
can
watch MTV.
well, there's that. But you know, oh my
you can
God,
let
it's
me go at any
Timothy.
time if you need. I'm not
Yeah,
contributing a whole bunch.
likewise.
You're fine. So we have a wild card backstage. Latif said this is a name that we have not yet seen. So let me not overwhelm them with additional folks if you guys don't mind.
Not all.
But I appreciate Vesper and PJ checking in. Y'all can call back if you want to.
How
Or
do I
let me
close
know.
out?
Or you can just take them down, actually,
Yeah,
Latif.
you can
And
take me
put
down.
up.
I'm trying to figure out how to do it myself now.
Okay, well, I think, yeah, you good. Latif's gonna take you off screen. So we got Michael, Mr. Pan, come through. Thank you guys for being here. Burn It Down with Kim Brown, Friday edition, unexpected call-in show. Thanks to all the folks that have come through with the glow. Michael, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I was just waiting. I was just waiting for you to finish. How you doing today, Kim?
I'm good.
I like your show. It's very exciting. You really inspire a lot of people, and you're on fire too. And you're seeing a lot of trends that most people don't see that'll come in, which is happening, right now. And it's really like, nothing new, to be honest, right? Because it's been going on for for so many centuries and decades. So it's really not new. What's new is because social media is exposing, corruption, policies, especially with those who have been in power for 40 plus years. So it's nothing new to me. But to answer the guys about your guest earlier talking about reparations for Italians.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm sorry Italians went through trauma in 1900, but I'm gonna have to be honest, and I know it's gonna probably anger a lot of viewers and people, but I want them to understand this very closely. American freedmen of chattel slavery. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that, right, Kim?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. American freedmen of chattel slavery. Their experience cannot be compared to other groups of people who went through different forms of trauma. Because American freedmen and going through having some from so many centuries of chattel slavery, anti-black racism, Jim Crow segregation, redlining, racial profiling, racial discrimination, right? And that all adds up. And so American freemen have been suffering more than other groups of people. And for the guests to say that Italians, align with American freedmen, not closely aligned because their experience is quite different. You know what I mean? True that Italians have been discriminated. I'm not disregarding the guy's comment, but also looking at the big picture. Because when he said that reparations have to be more than cash payments, I disagree because when you have programs as reparations, right? The problem with that, if you set reparations programs, what if the federal government cuts the program any time of the day, and then you have nothing to really like depend on. But that's why cash payment reparations need to come first, and then other tangible. Because with cash payment reparations, it's a debt settlement, right? Because of various levels of government were complicit in white supremacy, lynching, stolen land, property. So those things actually came, when those things were stolen from American freemen, it actually came with money, because when you take away land, probably you're taking away money at the same time. And we don't tell other groups of people, oh, they should not get Caspian reparations. No, we let them decide how they want to, once they get the check from the government, how they want to spend their money. So I feel like we should not tell American how they want to spend their money, because that's their hard-earned money. That money was stolen from intergenerationally.
I appreciate your comments, Michael. I think I don't weigh in a lot on the reparations.
Mhm.
I'm not even sure whether or not it's fair to even call it a debate, but because there's no question that Black people, descendants of slavery, are actually owed quite a bit, and I know you must have observed the fracture even within the Black community, from the ADOS people to folks that I guess like are more pan-African minded. If we're going to do reparations, it should not only be for Black Americans, it should be for Black people who experienced the horrors of slavery all throughout the hemisphere, really throughout the world. But to your point, I I think that the folks that the white Europeans who came here and experienced, well, would you say maybe one or two generations of harsh discrimination, not to your point, not comparable to chattel slavery, but
Mhm. Right, but I'm just
the
saying, like,
Italians and Irish were able to assimilate into whiteness in ways that Black people could
exactly,
never and will never, right?
right,
So any kind
exactly,
of societal imposed violence against them because of their ethnicity was not a long-term situation. It was quickly remedied within like one or two generations after arriving. If
right.
is that accurate? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you're saying accurate. Yes, you're accurate, because it's been documented. I mean, historically, right? And it's like nothing new. If you look at it collectively, like white European Americans, regardless of their ethnicities, have actually accumulated more wealth than American freedmen for so many centuries and counting, right? And we look at like the Great Recession, right? That's true that all groups of people were hit hard financially, almost evenly. But we also have to look at we also have to consider the wealth that was recovered or lost during the Great Recession. And that's true that almost equal groups of people lost income, lost benefits, but we never talked about assets. What assets they could depend on if they were to lose their jobs, or encounter a financial calamity. And I think this is something that we have to take look at from a wealth perspective, right? Because, like, sir, I could lose a job tomorrow, right? But what I probably will not lose is probably like wealth, because wealth is separate from employment, and this is where cash payment reparations are essential to closing the wealth gap in terms of building assets, wealth, and other financial resources, right? And speaking about, you said this is for Black people about reparations. Yes, let me break this down too for your audience to understand. Just because Africans who move from Africa to America, yes, it doesn't mean they're eligible for reparations. It's based on lineage, legal status. Because when you do reparations based on race, it's going to be unconstitutional. I mean, other groups of people want to fight for reparations that American freedmen have been fighting for so many centuries and counting. And you look at other groups of people who receive reparations, they didn't say, for example, Japanese and this group of people, Jewish people and this group of people. No, they exclusively focus on their own. And it's the same thing what American freedmen are saying. This is for American freemen of chattel slavery, those who are descendants or legal status. And I'm not saying other groups of people should not fight for their own status reparations. They can, but they're going to have to make their own claims. Because the problem is that when the government implements universal programs, it doesn't benefit American freedmen directly. Because at the end of the day, American freedmen are going to get crumbs from government programs as a last resort.
No,
And I'm not. Oh, go ahead.
no. Finish up.
Right. And so this is why I think it's very important for people to understand the context behind it. And I'm not saying universal policies are not important, that we should not implement. Yes, they are, but it's not enough to help American freedmen. I'm sorry, to close the wealth gap, because we have to look at who has more wealth and who has less. Despite that, both groups of people. Yes, that's true that multiple groups of people have lost their income in the Great Recession. but wealth is as important as generating income. And also, plus, American freemen, when they get cash payment reparations, they're going to stimulate the economy, add GDP, right? And and for the value for cash payment reparations is $115 trillion. Think about it. $115 trillion will definitely stimulate the American economy, which is needed right now. But obviously, a lot of groups of people are opposed to cash payment reparations for American freedmen because they don't want to see American freedmen get ahead, and that is wrong. No, American freedmen deserve their debt that's been owed to them for so many centuries, and it's overdue. And like if you look at the Jewish people in Germany when they see reparations, yeah, there were divisions, of course, but over time the Germans learned that hey, we can't make the mistakes of the past. Otherwise, we're going to come back and make hard decisions.
When you talk about the Great Recession and the erasure of assets owned by Black people, it immediately made me think about the foreclosure crisis and how hard Black homeowners in Prince George's County in particular were hit. And this allegedly the richest county for Black folks in the country. And a one bad economic spate was enough to, cost people everything that they had invested, you know what I mean? Or all their assets that they owned, any wealth that they had was in the home and it was gone. And with this federal government shutdown, a lot of Black people here locally are being negatively impacted by that. And it's going to be Black folks experiencing the furlough, unfortunately, who may be the first to file for foreclosure. But when it comes to reparations, I think it needs to be some sort. It needs to be like a bundle. I listen. If somebody sent me a check, I'm not sending it back, right? I'm gonna keep it. Okay, I'm gonna hurry up and put it in the bank to make sure, you know what I mean, that it goes through. But I think, maybe making it tax free, making it so that Black folks are not responsible for federal taxes, or the public university system is open and free to Black. I think it needs to be a combination of a lot of things.
Right, and I hear you that on combination, but also make sure that the cash payment reparations come first to American freemen, because what happens that in the past, right, or let's say hypothetical, whenever policymakers propose a combination of money and programs, sometimes the money gets excluded from the program. The program usually comes first, right? And like I said earlier, anytime the government can cut programs, right? So when the government cuts funding for a program, then what do you have left? You basically have no substance. You don't have any real tangibles like cash. Money you can feel and touch immediately. Because the problem with programs being billed as reparations is that most American freemen will not touch that money several 20, 30 years later down the road when they're getting closer to like retirement age already, and they've been pretty much been working the entire lives, whereas other groups of people are getting closer to retirement because of the asset buildup at the expense of American freedmen who involuntarily built this country. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying programs are not needed. That's true, but programs are not enough to close the wealth gap between American
They're not
freedmen.
reliable. Is that what you're saying? Like you can't. Sure, they can say, okay, we're going to include in the reparations package like these programs, money for these programs. But as we see right now, depending on who's in the White House or who's in charge of Congress, like programs. What programs? Y'all thought y'all had programs, huh? Ain't no programs. Ain't no more programs.
Right. Yeah, when I say programs, like for example, I don't know, like programs meaning like education, healthcare. Okay, those are great, but they're not sufficient because anytime the government can cut it. But if you just put reparations as programs, yeah, it's definitely not going to benefit American freedmen at all, because American freedmen started with almost like zero dollars in wealth accumulation. Other groups of people had more wealth than American freedmen did, in the beginning because of slavery, anti-black racism, Jim Crow segregation, redlining, and other like economic forms of oppression, right? And I'm not negating that we don't need the programs, but I'm just saying that the programs are not enough to close the wealth gap. Because, like, for example, like some American freemen may want to go to college, okay, fine. But some American freemen don't want to go to college, so they want the check, right? Because the check to them is freedom, it's mobility, right? Programs, you don't have that much mobility because it's under, certain restrictions from the government.
So
And
hold
it's
on,
very
real quick, chat. Correct me on this because I don't want to misquote the brother. But brother Diallo Kenyatta, didn't Diallo talk about why would Black people want to close the wealth gap? Because we could never achieve the level of wealth that whites have, because we have not done the things that whites have done to achieve the wealth, right? We haven't genocided entire continents of people. We haven't, enslaved, millions of folks in order to generate wealth and provide free labor. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the long lens approach that Diallo was like, what's the point of us trying to close the wealth gap? You understand? Like, what does that get us? But hold on, I want to bring up Dre with or without.
We got Dre with the without in the building.
What up?
Michael,
Peace.
say what's up to Dre. Dre, you say what's up to everybody.
Hey, what up,
Hi,
Mike?
Dre.
What up,
How you doing?
everybody? What up,
Good,
everybody?
good, good.
What up, Mike? Yeah, it was Diallo getting at that point, because the thing that people, I think, are getting caught up in the discussion of reparations rather than to be an argument is that you're talking about it from a framework that the system just needs to pay people back. The system is disturbed and disgusting. So paying me back does what? And how does that fix? That doesn't fix anything. If you look at, and then it also puts a pin on the oppression. Like, there's people who have grandparents who are like sharecroppers. So you get what I'm saying? It was perpetual. The enslavement of Africans has not stopped. Like, the exploitation of Africans and all other people considered non-white has not stopped. So realistically, if we were to be pragmatic and you realistically give Africans whether it be the 4% of Africans that came to North America during the slave trade, or the 40% of Africans that went to Brazil, and then the rest of the Africans that went to the parts of the Caribbean and a little bit that was in Europe, if you give them a check, right? If we're being pragmatic, you give them a check or a program within a fucked up system. What does that do? All you're doing is switching seats. And like Jamal Joseph spoke about this when he was becoming a Black Panther. He said it in an interview. He was like, when he went there, he went to his first meeting for the Black Panther Party for self-defense, and he was like 17, 16. He was like, yeah, the gentleman who was heading the meeting started talking, and he got up and was like, yeah, I'm ready to shoot a white man. He was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The meeting went on. After the meeting was over, the head of the meeting had asked him to come up. They're talking. He asked him, if everything were to change right now and everybody that is oppressing you right now look like you, would you do anything about it? Like, how would you feel about that if everybody that you're angry with and that you're ready to shoot right now, would that change anything about what you really want to do? So it's like, again, you're basically just reversing the seats. It makes no sense to switch seats at the table when you're not allowed in the house, when you shouldn't be wanting to be in the house in the first place. So reparations realistically is a destruction of the system at like full stop. Because even when we speak about when the gentleman was talking about with Italian people getting reparations, they were literally when Italian people came here, whether it be from Sicily, like the lower part of the boot, or just like upper like north of Italy, lighter Italian people weren't getting persecuted as much as darker skinned Italian people who were Sicilian, because they were closer to the African people and because they looked African because of like the Moors or whatnot. But they were lynching Italian people so much that the U.S. government was giving reparations to Italy because Italy wanted to go to war. Italy was ready to go to war with America if they didn't stop lynching people. And they kept lynching people up until I think that they stopped around like World War.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, Dre, you was flowing.
Dre. Yeah, we lost him by accident.
Dre,
Yeah.
if you can hear us,
Oh yeah,
He's
you
coming
can hear me?
come
Yes.
back. There you go.
Oh, my bad. So my fault. So I was saying, like, Italy, the U.S., the government, was lynching Italians at a rapid rate. Like, there's a lot. They were doing a lot because a lot of Sicilians and a lot of other Italians were hanging out with African people because they were working the same kind of lowly jobs. They were kind of having like similar politics, and then it was getting cool, and they're like, we don't like that. And then also because in the U.S. initially they weren't operating off of color outside of Africans with creating blackness in 1676, but they were operating off of religion. So since there was a lot of Protestants, the Protestants didn't like the Italians, so they would hang the Italians, and they were killing a lot of Italians who were Christian, hanging them. Ended up giving reparations several times to Italy, because they didn't want to go to war with Italy. Finally, the way that Italians were accepted into whiteness was John Pinted, who was he was an aristocrat, merchant, piece of shit that worked with like Alexander Hamilton, who's also a piece of shit, who was responsible for the first financial crash. Them working together after they had the first financial crash, John Pinted went to prison. He went to debtor's prison for a couple months, got out, was trying to rework himself, figure things out. He was starting up a bunch of societies. Like he started up the Tammany Society in New York City. Like that's where it's like Tammany Hall. Like he started up all of these things off of the backs of indigenous people when they stole their land, and that's a whole nother story. But to get to Christopher Columbus was seen as an Italian Christian. And so Protestants didn't want nothing to do with him. They thought he was like a foreigner. We don't want to fuck with you. John Pinted was like, wait, no, we can repurpose this dude and make him, white. So they did that and made Christopher, because they was trying to find something to be proud of for taking this land, for, discovering it. So they used Christopher Columbus, and it was like, all right, now Christopher Columbus is white. And then the Italians like, oh shit, so that means we white now? And then basically that's what happened with that, as far as like the slow turn from Italian people being Italian to them being racialized as white in America. Obviously, there's still like class antagonisms and still quote unquote racial antagonisms between white people and Italians, but it's the gap has gotten very small. Now, when it comes to the idea of the wealth gap, these other things, obviously Dr. Jared Ball talks about it all the time, like this idea of all we need to do is do capitalism better doesn't do anybody any good, because then somebody still has to fail out. Like there's still going to be an issue. The idea of all of us having it, oh yeah, if we just get some money, it'll be better. If we just get some programs, it'll be better. No, we have to, the system itself has to fall. Realistically speaking, again, last thing I said, like pragmatically speaking, if you were to give Africans money, you would have to keep giving them money because we're still being exploited. Like it's still a thing. Like the police, the police themselves, when they kill African people in the street and then they pay a settlement, that comes out of taxpayer money. Like they can't. Oh, it doesn't
Actually,
stop. Like and then also the last thing, the other idea of the money, it's like, okay, we get the money and not the programs or this, that, and third. It's like, who runs the system though? They could just say the money doesn't matter anymore.
But I had to push back slightly. When the Japanese Americans got reparations from the U.S. government, the U.S. government did not create programs for Japanese descendants of interned camps. They didn't tell them what to do with the money, right? So we didn't say, oh, if Japanese Americans get reparations from the government, oh, it's not pragmatic. Actually, it was actually pragmatic for the Japanese internments. So they had no one stopping them from getting reparations. The problem is that the U.S. government has been preventing American freedmen from getting reparations for so many centuries and counting, because they didn't want to see American freedmen going from bottom to the top. So I'm not, and yeah, just because American freedmen get
Japanese Americans at the top.
No,
Okay,
I'm talking about American freedmen. Let's get the facts straight. Reparations for legal status, lineage, meaning those who are descendants of chattel slave in America prior to slavery. Prior to slavery ended 1865, right? Because everybody has certificate, and on the certificate, for American freedmen is going to say American freeman or Black American freeman as a basis for lineage, legal status. And it's not for all Black people. Let's make the correction. Reparations in America is for those who are descendants of chattel slave in America. It's just like when Africans got enslaved in Europe. It's for those who enslaved in Europe. So let's make the clear distinction. And like I said, if you want more information, you should check out Philip Scott. He's definitely an expert on cash payment reparations for American freedmen of chattel slave. Also read books written by also Dr. Claude Anderson, Powernomics. He definitely goes into detail explaining.
May I interject? May I interject? Because the point that you're trying to make is going to be invalidated by this one point. We were promised 40-acre mule, and that promise was kept. So that debt has been increasing with interest. generation after generation after generation. So that's the point that you were trying to make. Japanese got their reparations immediately. We've still been waiting to get reparations. Dre, to something about your point, Italy wanted to go to war with the U.S. Please, they couldn't even beat Ethiopia back in when they got board wiped in the Battle of Alwa in 1896. What made you think they could actually? They're going to sell all the way over to the U.S. and try and fight? No,
that's what they wanted to do.
That was they it was Italy stood and never will stand a chance. Italy couldn't beat New York, the state of New York by itself, let alone trying to fight all the states. So I'm just saying these things because I sit back and I listen patiently, but you have to understand that when certain promises are not carried out immediately, the debt rolls over exponentially. So if we said, okay, we're 6 or 7 generations past when we're supposed to get our 40 acres and a mule. So you go 1.07 to the 6th power or 7th power, and that's what is actually owed.
So, but I think what part of Dre's point, and I appreciate, is the fact that even if they paid us literally to the penny, everything that was owed to us, but calculated off chattel slavery, off of redlining, off of black towns being seized and captured by eminent domain, the plunder,
destroyed.
But like, say if they calculated it to the penny and be like, okay, as of October 10th, 2025, we owe y'all X amount of trillions. But them motherfuckers, the till is going to start back up on October 11th because they are going to continue to brutalize us. You understand? Like, everything that they have done to us up until this point, they have never stopped doing. So even to say that they owe us up until now, it's like, okay, well, what happens tomorrow and next month and next year and the next 10 years and the next 100 years when y'all keep continuing to do the same shit to us? Don't you still owe, or y'all figured y'all settled up?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that settlement's not. Yeah, settlement has to come first, cash payment, but then other policy changes as well. If you go on to Philip Scott's the African Diaspora News channel, he breaks it down further why cash payments need to come first, and then other policies such as the federal government auditing banks for redlining, discrimination, and other policies. Because just doing policies alone is not enough to close the wealth gap. So that's why it's both are needed. In other words, treatment and prevention as a way to move forward.
If cops would stop being just looking out for themselves and being the lapdogs of and attack dogs of capital, that would be one part. Because I don't respect Pennsylvania state troopers because they originated as slave patrols.
Exactly.
Am I wrong, Kim?
You're right.
I mean, the whole idea is just, again, it's a switching of seats because there's not a one drop that changes everything. Because just like we're talking about the discussion of reparations and like, who should get what or how should this all spread out, it's like you still have compradors, you still have people like, oh yeah, that the joke that Patrice O'Neill made, like, oh, I thought when Obama became president I was gonna get a white slave. Like this idea, this idea of this ultimate Negro, like this super like nebulous but all politic Negro, like we are just this one hive mind that's just not realistic. And then it creates a point again. You get this money within this system, then what? It just switches seats. It's not the system itself is the problem, not getting money to be in the system. The system itself is the issue. You can give anybody $1 billion, but if you give them $1 billion, they can still be Elon Musk. So it's just a matter of the system itself is fucked. Like it's not, and it's fucked because that's just how.
And the system needs to be broken, Dre.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying. So like
then we need to break the system and build something better from the ashes.
Build a new system, right? That's why I'm saying that the money that the cash payment reparations had to be distributed to American freedmen first, and then we dismantle the system. It's like what Philip Scott said. Like I said, I would recommend all you guys watch Philip Scott on the African Diaspora News channel. He's on YouTube because he breaks it down line item by line item, and also he
Okay,
gives
but
a
what?
good.
No, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead, finish.
I'm just saying, like what I said earlier. Like he talks about how, like, hey, once American freedmen gets cash payment reparations, right, and land, then the system needs to crumble down, needs to be dismantled when it comes to like banking, finance, and redlining and other policies.
So what would
Because
our
Okay.
reparations be
Oh,
worth if, I mean, and not to say you
yeah,
guys
it's
know I'm pro
115.
burn it
Yeah,
down,
right.
but
yes, it's $115 trillion if you include the ongoing effects of slavery.
Well, okay.
Bef-
But
so
before
let me
Miss
say,
Kim,
let me say this. Let me say this
oh,
real
my fault.
quick. So,
My fault.
you guys know I used to work at Russian media, and I used to have extensive conversations with my Russian coworkers who were Russian from Russia. And one of the guys I used to work with, his name was Alexander, but of course they called him Sasha, right? And
Mhm.
Sasha was talking about when so-called communism fell. And he said that first of all, you always knew you were never sure as a Russian whether or not there was about to be an imminent coup in the late 80s, early 90s, because the state television would start running Swan Lake, the Russian ballet,
Yeah.
and every time Swan Lake would come on TV, they
Wow.
were like, "Oh shit, who's
Who done
gonna be the
died?
new president?" But the one thing he said to me that I remember, he said that his grandmother, his babushka, when the state kind of fell and the value of the ruble fell, her pension was like 1,000,000 rubles, and she was excited. And he had to explain to her that this 1,000,000 rubles is not million rubling, not really, grandma. You know what I'm saying? So that was like that. I think America's on the crumble block right now. So great if they run me a fat reparation check and then the dollar collapses. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
And to your point, Miss Kim, like that idea that are we not seeing the contradiction in saying this has to crumble, but pay me? Like that's like me talking to a lady like, yeah, I can't wait to take you out and then never call her again. That doesn't make any sense. There's no check if there's no system. The building it, that's the main thing. The contradictions. Using a dialectical materialism, the building it up to see where it ends at. We are in capitalism. Capitalism itself is barbarism. It doesn't need to get barbaric. It already is. So the idea of reparations within a barbaric system for a people that are still oppressed because it hasn't stopped. There is no linchpin. There is no pause. People are still going through shit at this moment. So the idea that a check will change it and a policy change will change it makes no sense when in the same thought, in the same breath, you say, okay, but the system has to go down. So then the system goes down, fuck the money, make a new system. The money does nothing. The new system does something. So that's
Right,
the
but I'm just saying.
religion.
Bob says what I'm saying is that when other groups of people receive reparations, we didn't tell them what to do with their money, or hey, Japanese Americans, you get reparations. We don't need to dismantle system. But what I'm saying is that in order for American freedom to catch up with other groups of people, equity has to be accounted for because other groups of people, especially the European Americans, have a 400-year head start, whereas American freedmen have a 400 years lag. The only going to make things equal is cash payment reparations. Like you can't like. Let me give you a concrete example. Let's say UBI, Universal Basic Income, right? Let's say you gave everybody the same amount, $1,000 a month, which is about $12,000 a year, right? How's that closing a wealth gap when other groups of people had more wealth to begin with than American freedmen who did not in the first place? What I'm saying is that if you do both, okay, let's say you give, okay, fine, UBI, but then even you give everybody, including American freedmen, a UBI, that's not enough to close a wealth gap because other groups had a head start over American freedmen. But if you give cash payment reparations in addition to UBI to American freedmen, it's going to equalize the playing field. It's going to add GDP, the dollar amount to the U.S. economy, because American freemen are the biggest consumers. What, $2 trillion? Other groups of people don't spend that kind of money.
First, I would suggest that you read Dr. Ball's book on the goddamn, why did I just forget the name of the book? I know Chitty Machi knows the name and everybody in the chat knows the name, but I would advise you to read Dr. Ball's book on that idea of of black GDP and the spending and the buying power myth. The
You're not
buying
talking
power myth.
about MOBP? The myth
Yeah,
of black
Mr. Black.
buying power.
There we go. The Mr. Black Buying Power. I was slipping my mind because I got the book upstairs. I ain't breaking open.
You trying to play Jared like Killer Mike up here. You want to talk all around the book. You don't
No,
want
I
to name
couldn't.
the book though.
I couldn't remember. But the idea. So again, that idea of the idea of the faith in the dollar is pretty telling. Like having the faith in the dollar when they give you it with a system that you don't want to exist anymore. What would this dollar be worth? That's one. Two, the idea of black buying power. Spending doesn't mean you're wealthy. It just means you're spending. It just means I have to pay a bill. That don't mean I have money. It just means I have to pay a bill. Like I live in a home, I got to pay a HOA, I got to pay whatever else. That don't mean I got money. It means I got bills. So the idea of money being the way to change anything makes no sense when, again, the system is the problem. Not that I don't have money, is that I live in this system. A great example, LeBron James is a billionaire. LeBron James also had nigga written on the front of his house, but he's a billionaire. So it doesn't change anything at the end of the day. So the idea is the system and the ethic of the people, the ethos of the people, the zeitgeist, all of that, all of the words you can think of have to change. This idea of reparations through finance and policy is bullshit for Africans in this scenario, just period, to me personally. But because it doesn't do anything but just keep things how they already are. Again, we are in capitalism.
I'm not. Yeah, Dre, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm not about dismantling the policies, right? That cash reparations is not enough. But what I'm saying is that it's not enough to dismantle the racist policies, and then you don't give American freedmen a check because that was what was stolen for so many centuries and counting. Meaning, like they're not able to pass on intergenerational wealth to their kids and great grandkids, so that the playing field could be equalized.
I know.
To make the playing field equal. No,
There
no.
can't be an equal. Hold on. One last thing, real quick. There can't be an equal playing field if we're still alive. Like it's still going on. There's no equal playing field. We're playing soccer. They playing football. There is no equal playing field.
Right, but I'm just saying, like when you tell American freedmen that, hey, if they get their check, meaning that it's not enough, that it's not gonna be any worth more. We don't tell other groups of people how they get their money, right? So it should be the same thing with American freedmen. When they get their cash paying reparations, let them choose how they want to spend their own money, whether to invest or spend. Because we don't tell that to other groups of people, Native Americans, Jewish people, and Japanese.
Indigenous people in this country are still internally colonized. You think a reservation?
Yeah, and also let me get this straight. I know you keep saying Africans. By the way, it's American freedmen, not Africans. Long time ago, when Africans they chose not to. They chose. Let me.
All right.
They chose not to include American freedmen. I can tell you that already. So now American freedmen says it's time for de-alienation from Africa. We want to make sure it's legal status, lineage for American freedmen, not race.
Whoa. You gotta slow up. Because American, you want to think American freedmen, that's already like
that's already a convoluted name. That's because
but it's never. But it's
why didn't you say Black Afro American? Why can't you say Black Americans?
Right, because what happens when you use Black Americans, other Africans can claim themselves to be American descendants when they were not enslaved in America because they chose to come to America.
You don't know, but were they enslaved in Haiti? Were they enslaved in Brazil? Well, these colonial powers trillions. No, it's my turn to talk. It's my turn to talk. So, what you don't understand is that the raping and pillaging of the African continent. Still my turn to talk. What the raping and pillaging that Europeans did to the African continent for centuries is beyond the pale. While did the Muslims conquer and rule over North Africa and such? Yes, but the way they did slavery was completely different than the chattel slavery that went on in Americas. I've been watching, I've been reading many a thing. So when you say American freedmen, look, a free. That's why people have the name free men. But what you need to understand is that there are this generational trauma and scars that need to be also undone. Like I said, there needs to, you're not wrong about saying that policy changes need to be put in effect. Actually, they don't need to be policy changes; they need to be laws, because a policy can be ignored. But if somebody knows that it's going to be direct consequences for their racist actions, behaviors, particularly any punk asses who decide they want to be cops or get in law enforcement, then they need to understand that. Or they try and get into economic racism by redlining, or they try and get into other forms
Right.
of racism. So what you are not quite grasping is that the system needs to be broken down, and we need to put a brand new system in that will make things better for all peoples,
Right.
and put everybody on
Right.
a level playing field. And that's what I'm. That's why I'm taking umbrage with what you're saying, because you keep on saying black freemen, but there's
Yeah, but I have
Wait,
a
hold on, hold on.
gentlemen,
I have a wait,
article
wait,
was written by
the-
American
the
freedmen.
wait,
They were
real
descendants
quick,
practicing
of
real quick.
slavery in
slavery.
Haiti deserve at least $10 trillion from France and Spain. I'm done.
Okay, hold on. Let me say something real quick here. First of all, I appreciate the enthusiasm and the spirit of the conversation. I think this is pretty dynamic and raising some issues that I think absolutely should be addressed. I appreciate Michael, you I appreciate your take, and I'm glad that you want to see black people have things. Let's start there. It's like I'm that makes me glad. The ADOS kind of slant of it, though, I'm bothered by the FBA ADOS people, because I feel as though it is a coordinated attempt to continue to divide black folks, right? And even with our internal issues, what I'm saying, black Americans feel as though even Africans are anti-black towards us. Caribbeans can be anti-black towards us. Still, we all black in this country. The police don't make them distinctions, right? So
No.
but if there's going to be reparations made, like the transatlantic slave trades went from Africa to the Americas, back up to London for shipbuilding and sail masting and the iron works and all that shit that went into the actual mechanics of slavery and transporting enslaved Africans. So I can't see how other slave colonies could be excluded from a reparations conversation,
Well, I'm saying
because
that's what, right. But I'm just saying that, like what other economists have said and other groups of people said, like if the Japanese people, Vietnamese people want to get
Oh,
reparations, they have to make their
good
own claim
Lord.
from the government outside the United States, right? When slavery happened in Brazil, that means the people who are in Brazil got to make a claims with the Brazilian government for slavery. It's a
of
separate.
sorts, but you got to
It's
figure, for
interconnected, but it's a
example,
separate.
Slavery,
but
slavery
wait,
was a
hold on,
global
hold on,
thing.
guys, wait one
It's
second.
global. I
So,
understand it's
Sorry.
global. Yes,
so
it's
but so you know that Lords of London underwrote and was the underwriters and the insurers of slave ships, right? Like Lords of London is not a US based company, and yet their capital, you know what I'm saying, what they were able to provide enslavers and transporters of enslaved people and resources helped to generate trillions of wealth, not only for them but for the colonies also, right? So my issue is not exclusively with the American government. If we're talking about reparations for enslaved people that were brought here, because there was a global component to it. There was a European component to it in addition to, right? So my beef, if we're talking about reparations, can't ever exclusively be with the American government, right? Same with enslaved people or descendants of enslaved people in Brazil. It wasn't Brazilian ships, it was Portugal. You know what I'm saying? So we're like, that check needs to be coming from the EU conglomerate in addition to American corporations.
Right, I
And
agree. I agree. But the point I'm trying to make is that when the Africans got enslaved in Europe, they got to make their claims to the European government to get reparations. Just like American freedmen who were enslaved in America got to make their claims with the U.S. Government, because
All
it's
right,
not the
but
same. It's not the same. Like I said, there's an article that's written by American freedmen. He goes in depth about the legal status of
hold
reparations.
on,
I'll be happy to post the
hold
link
on,
in the chat.
hold on.
Put it in the
So,
private
so
chat, Michael. Why again? I'm not here to preclude different perspectives being shared. If you could
Sure.
put it in the
Yeah,
private
I'll put it in
chat,
the private. Yeah. Let me
and
see private
Latif, if
chat.
you
No
could
problem.
drop it in the
Yeah, I can drop
main
it
chat.
in. Yes.
hold on. What I wanted
Yes.
to say to that is that this compartmentalizing of slavery is making absolutely no sense. Like I agree with Miss Kim's point with the idea it's global, just like the global economy, where you hear like this sounds like the circulation of the black dollar by black, like that idea that there is not a global economy. We don't own the means of production, just like we didn't own the means of slavery. So this idea that there is separate places to get reparations, it doesn't make any sense. Like my name is Portuguese. I live in America though. So it's like this thought that we have to compartmentalize and break things up for a check within a system that doesn't care about us anyway, to then switch seats with our oppressor to then oppress them doesn't make any sense. Again, I bring it back to the Jamal Joseph quote when he talked about joining the Black Panther Party for self-defense. When he came in there ready to shoot, and they told him, like, hey, if we switch seats, and your oppressors look just like you, will you still feel the same way? So this is the understanding that we're arguing for money from people that don't want us that don't want us to have anything, let alone money. And then we're arguing that it should be broken up as if, again, 4% of enslaved Africans came to Turtle Island. 40% went to Brazil. The rest went to Trinidad, Jamaica, and other Caribbean islands, plus South America, plus other parts of South America. So there's thought that 40% of descendants of enslaved Africans in Brazil need to go talk to the Brazilian government and not the Portuguese government or not the British government. Doesn't make any sense. And then it also creates this thought that, oh yeah, if we all just get money, then we can just be better. But then again, that faith in the dollar does absolutely nothing, because why are you having faith in a dollar when you want the system to not exist? Because you want a better system for the people. So then you want the dollar for a better system for the people. So is this not a push? What is this a push towards? Again, back to the point I made earlier. Do you just want to do capitalism better for yourself? Like it becomes an Ouroboros of bullshit.
I'm not saying that the capitalist system not be dismantled. I agree that capitalism needs to go, but what I'm saying is that for American freedmen to get what's due to them, it's a check, Caspian reparations. Other groups have received reparations. We didn't tell them, hey, Japanese Americans, Jewish Americans, when you guys receive reparations, we're not going to end capitalism. But I'm just saying for American freedmen, we should not be telling them what to do. Hey, we can't get to reparations. We got to end capitalism. No, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Cut them the check and then end capitalism at the same time. It's very simple. It does not take a rocket scientist. And then for the claim about, yeah, there's some people move to Europe, Brazil, right? It's going to be based on their birthright, where they're born, to make the claim for reparations. Like I said, if you should watch, there's a guy who breaks this down. His name is Donovan Sadiq. He talks about reparations. Like, for example, he's American freeman. If you were to move to, let's say, Jamaica, right? He can't claim reparations in Jamaica because he was not born in Jamaica. So he would have to claim reparations from the U.S. government. And it's the same thing when other groups of people move to the United States of America because they made a choice. So they got to claim reparations from their country of origin. Like I said, it's in the if you type in Domin Sadiq, he breaks it down, very in simplistic terms.
Again, so basically this discussion has just become a Pyrrhic victory, because like
It's not about victory. I'm just making a
no. I'm sorry. Just let me just finish this point. This has become a Pyrrhic victory. You're looking for a way to do capitalism better. More power to you. Have fun with that. I do appreciate you, Miss Kim. I'm gonna go ahead and head out and tie my do-rag and have the rest of my night. I love your show.
Roll a spliff, Dre, with or without
I don't smoke, but I love the show.
Down. Thank you, Dre.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you as always.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, thank you, Michael. I appreciate y'all.
Anytime. By the way, I want to end capitalism to believe. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is that, yeah, sir, we can end capitalism today, but it's not enough. It's not going to address the wealth gap. I'm saying like we can do both, walk and chew gum at the same time. Cutting American freeman or Caspian reparations check, land, and other tensions, and then end capitalism.
I want
Because
to look at some of your sources that you provided, Michael,
Sure.
because so when I hear, black people ought to be paid reparations and then end capitalism, it's like, okay, well, where do I take my reparations check then if we ended capitalism and the bank is over, right? You know what I'm saying? So what do I do with my nice reparations that I just cashed this check on? Where do I take this reparations? Where do I deposit this? Is the currency that this reparations has been now paid to me, is it even worth anything? Can I do anything with it? Like, what if they decide to pay reparations in Trump meme coin? You know what I'm saying? Like like it's
Mhm.
I hear the concerns that Dre and Infinite are bringing up, but I want to also look at some of the stuff that some of the other folks that you mentioned have discussed as well. So
Yes. Are you familiar with William Darity? He's an economist from Duke University.
Sandy Darity.
Sandy,
I
yes,
didn't know
Sandy
I didn't
Darity.
know his name
Sorry.
was William. You put the old
Yes.
man government name out here, Michael. Like, no, I'm
Yes,
kidding. You
Sandy.
guys, Sandy Darity,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, Sandy Darity. I was trying to say he does a great job of breaking down the reparations figures and what the reparations will look like. He definitely said for sure that taxpayer reparations have to come first, because when he said that when you do reparations as programs, it doesn't address the root cause of how we got from A to B in this country. And don't get me wrong, and it's Dr. Sandy Darity. He's not against have universal policies, right?
Mhm.
But he's just saying that universal policies alone won't close the wealth gap.
No, I agree. And I want to highlight Brother Diallo's perspective of, we close the the wealth gap to have parity with whites to show what, to do what.
I
Like,
mean, and other
no,
groups
no,
of
no, no,
people
no. I'm
too.
just saying kind of
Right.
philosophically, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
what does this mean overall if we are able to close the wealth gap? Have we sank our morality to be equal with white? You know what I'm saying? Like, white people didn't acquire this wealth because they were smart. They acquired it because they were brutal, right? And I
Right,
don't think that
exactly.
black
Brutal.
people
Right.
are willing to be as brutal in order to gain the material stuff. But Michael, I'm gonna
Right.
turn you loose because I'm gonna turn myself loose here in a second because I'm
Sorry.
getting hungry. But listen, thank you so much. Where are you calling from? You don't have to drop,
Oh yeah, so I'm actually calling from DMV, DC,
Oh,
Maryland, and
you're
Virginia.
local.
Yeah, how
Okay.
about you?
I'm in PG County, Michael. You ain't never heard me say that.
Oh, I thought because I kept thinking you were in California at first.
Oh, he thinks I'm one of them. He thinks I'm a Cali girl.
Yeah, but you should definitely
I've never heard anyone tell me that I give California. So thank you. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
you should definitely like I said, you should definitely check out Philip Scott, the host of the African Diaspora News Channel, and then several YouTubers who talk about reparations. But very quickly, the reason why universal policies are not enough because majority of white Americans oppose universal health care when they found out race was included back
Mhm.
in the 1950s when the poll for universal healthcare was conducted among white Americans. At first, white Americans were supportive of free healthcare in the late 1940s, but when the question was changed to do you support universal healthcare, including Black Americans? The attitude changed very quickly from a high of 70% to 40%, and that's why Black American freedmen were excluded from universal policies, especially the
Oh,
GI.
Especially the GI Bill. No, 100%. That's the crazy thing to me about racism and American racism in particular. Like, racists will actually support policies that hurt them so long as it also hurts black people, right? And
Right.
whether or not it hurts black people depends on whether or not they will support said policy. It's like, wait a minute, does this help black people? It'll help me too? Well, forget that. No, I don't want black people having anything. And that's the same situation we find ourselves in right now. Like,
Mhm.
white people voted, well, the racist whites, of course, voted overwhelmingly for this MAGA shit. And now the farmers are crying because they're losing their shit. And the white woman is on TikTok crying
Mhm.
because she's in her third trimester of a high risk pregnancy. And oh, they done took away all your reproductive rights in Texas. You thought that didn't apply to you. So yeah, a lot of things are coming to bear right now. So, but
Yeah,
thank you
exactly.
for checking for calling in tonight. I
Oh yeah,
appreciate it,
you're welcome
Michael.
anytime. In case the link doesn't work in the private chat, I can also email. Do you have an email as well? Because I'm
Yes,
afraid it might. Yeah, it might not open. I don't know why it's not. I was just testing to see if the link would work. Some reason it's not working. From my end. My email will be coming from tigerwoodspan@gmail.com.
you're funny. You said Tiger Woods.
mycolepan@gmail.com.
Are you Ty? Are you like Tiger Woods? No. Okay.
You know, I
Okay.
wish, you know, so I joke. Actually, I tell people I'm the cousin of Tiger Woods to make it easier. Because when I try to create a Gmail account, it won't allow me to create mycolepan@gmail.com because I guess the name was already taken.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get very creative. I couldn't think of other names besides I couldn't think of any other names. I chose Tiger Woods Pan to make it easier because I just wanted to create a Gmail account quickly, so I don't spend a lot of time thinking about creating a username. Yeah, but I'm just saying like I was just saying like yeah, both are needed. Caspian reparations for American freedom and universal policies. That's what I was trying to say. And I don't want your audience, your guests, to feel that I was misunderstanding where he was coming from. I'm just looking at the lens that we had to look at the big picture, you know, the 360 degrees picture. Because in case universal policies do pass, like hypothetically, anytime universal policies can be dismantled by the government, meaning like universal health care, etc. So that's why I'm saying like both are needed. So that way it's easy for American freedmen to file a claim against the US government for cutting off programs. You see where I'm coming from, right? And I don't want to take so much of your time, Kim.
I do, and it's not that I don't see where you're coming from. I don't agree with everything that you're saying, but
I mean, I just want
it's
the
not
guests to
rooted
understand.
in nothing,
Right.
right? What you're saying is grounded in something. It's something I don't 100% agree with, but like I said, I appreciate that you want Black people to have things. So thank you.
Yeah,
Like
you're
I
welcome.
mean, a lot of people don't want
Anytime.
Black people to have nothing. So I appreciate that you that from outside of the community recognize that not only are we owed, but we should be paid. So because a lot of folks are, especially those outside of the Black community, are quick to tell Black people again. My people came here and was able to start a business and able to buy a house. Y'all been here for generations. How come Black people can't, pull themselves up?
Right.
How come? And I'm
Mhm.
sure that those are not tropes that are, unknown to you, right? Because I'm sure that's just how people talk, right? And
Mhm.
not having uh and also not wanting to have an understanding of what Black people have experienced here. So I'm glad that you want Black people to have things.
I
So
do,
thank
but yeah,
you.
yeah, oh yeah, anytime. The reason I want Black American freedmen to have what is owed to them because I know they did a lot for a lot of groups of people outside the race, but they own because other groups of people, most of them are majority, but most of them did not reciprocate. So now it's my turn to return, to return the favor, right? Because American freedmen are just tired of helping other groups of people. It's very exhausting. It takes a lot of toll, on their bodies, mentally and physically and financially, right? Because the only way, like I said, the only way, like for example, if let me say Americans want universal healthcare, they're going to have to reciprocate with American freedmen to do reparations. It's an exchange. It just can't be one thing over the other, right? And I take it
Yes, but the whites are not used to operating that way. They don't
right,
they don't
exactly.
operate from an equity minded perspective, even in spite of the fact that there is a abundance that all could be covered in a myriad of ways, right? But the white people, they just don't want to do the racist whites. Of course, I hate to keep doing the
Yeah,
caveat, but we have
right.
visitors that don't understand that I don't hate white people. But so when I'm saying white people, I definitely don't mean all white people. But you understand what I'm saying. But Michael,
But
I have
I
to let you
understand.
go. I have to turn you loose because I have to go eat. I'm hungry.
Yes,
I
let's
know, I
let
know.
Michael loose. We're gonna let Mr. Michael go.
Yeah, I gotta go. Sorry to go overtime.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you
guys.
so much for having me on. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you viewing. Appreciate you watching. Listen, chat. I see you guys percolating over there. Shout out to Leah Boggs. Shout out to Yipper Nin in the building. Sweary Ferry in the building. Donnie Bird. Afraid Not. Who else is in here, Latif, that we need to acknowledge? Thank you, Latif, for pushing the buttons around and down and eastbound and down and all the things. Listen, everybody, keep in mind, we live in strange times. Look to the skies. I was listening to the Incubus song, I Wish You Were Here. You guys know Incubus is my favorite band. Well, Incubus might be my second favorite band now after I discovered Bob Dylan. And I said, "Ooh, Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan got some jams. They are great." But "Wish You Were Here" is one of Incubus's earlier hits. And how does the verse go, y'all? Second verse. I lean against the wind. sky resembles a backlit canopy with holes punched in it. I'm counting UFOs. I signal them with my lighter. And in this moment, I am happy. Happy Fire Fam. I wish you were here. Y'all are here. Be careful. It's aliens versus Nazis. The worst horror film. the worst Halloween horror release coming up Friday, October 31st. And Halloween is on a Friday. Worst horror movie ever. Aliens versus Nazis. Who you got? Pick your enemy, pick your opponent. You want to do battle with the aliens or you want to do battle with the Nazis? I'm gonna take my chance with the Nazis, to be honest, because you can't really fuck with aliens if they have the ability, technology, and capabilities to travel a very long distance at apparently a very, very high rate of speed. I do not want no smoke with motherfuckers that can do that shit. These Nazis is soft as scrotum skin little bitches, okay, and they can be easily dealt with, clearly, right? It can I shout out again, and I'm gonna cover this story come Monday, and maybe there'll Tuesday. I mean, maybe there'll be some additional details. But again, the Latina sister who got shot several times by ICE. Not only did my girl survive, she is out of jail, and she was with the shits. Okay. And she didn't do what they said she did. At least I don't think so. But my point is this: women is out here giving the utmost out here in these streets, going against this administration. And I wanted to just take a moment to acknowledge that, like, the women are out here fighting, like, hands up, like, fuck you, ICE, fuck you, bitches, get the fuck out of our neighborhood, get the fuck out of our city. It's the women hopping out the cars, giving these little ICE bitches the whole entire business. African Pride, thank you so much. You sent some money? Hey, thank you. African Pride, thank you so much. Listen, like I said, I'm gonna release the promo code, because for the BIDWKB merch. So if you was gonna buy something this weekend, hold off, because you can get 20% off come starting Tuesday, and we'll post that on the channel somewhere. Y'all see it, y'all find it. I need for October, November, December. Okay, because I've been doing some calculations, and I said, oh, we have some end of the year expenses that pop up in December. Our StreamYard subscription, I'm gonna tell you, oh my god, it's $800 a year. Oh, it was. I think it was like $838. That's December. So I've said that to say this: for October, November, and December, I need 40 people each of those months to buy $20 worth of shit. That's it. You ain't got to buy $50 worth of shit. You ain't got to buy $40 worth of shit. I just need you to buy $20 worth of shit. Okay. 40 people a month for the month of October, November, and December. We'll probably do some Black Friday sales, even though I did fuck myself in the channel just a little bit with that 40% off sale. I was like, oh, whoops, I should have did the calculations a little better about what the profit margin was going to be on inventory, but so that didn't quite work out. So I can't offer 40% because I just can't. But if we get 40 people, oh, look, I see y'all running bucks. I appreciate it, but hold that. Hold it till Tuesday. It won't shit. Let me shut up, because I know people. Kim, you better take this money while I got it in my pocket. So okay, no problem. Yes, thank you so much for the super chat. Who was that ran the super chat? Oh, thank you, African Pride. Thank you so much. So I'm just letting y'all know. Shout out African Period. My bad. Like I said, 40 people for October, November, and December. Each of those months, $20. Please and thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, y'all. I'm out. Thank you so much to Latif Supermod Supreme for regulating and delegating and finger pushing in the background. I certainly appreciate it. So, gang, we will see y'all back here on the Tuesday. And don't forget, Saturdays with Renee. Tomorrow, Black Liberation Media, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Please tune in. And thank you for all that watch the Remix Morning Show and that are subscribed to both Black Liberation and BIDWKB. So yay! All right, y'all, be safe out here. Aliens versus Nazis. Guard your grill, protect your